Hello, this is Kalen Nagel from Kalen Tech Video Productions. This is part one of a multi-part documentary covering the trials and tribulations of a Wizard World Chicago Artist Alley exhibitor. Along with the staff of Chaos Field Studios, I have been attending Wizard World Chicago as a professional badge holder or an exhibitor for many years, attempting to market and sell my creative projects, including comics and fine art. After several years of hard and often unrewarding work at this, in early 2008, I decided it might be a good idea to show others what it's like being an exhibitor and a customer in the Artist Alley, in the hopes that it may draw more attention to the other convention within Wizard World Chicago. Here you'll be watching one of the coolest things you can find in the Artist Alley: personalized sketches from both famous and completely unknown artists. In this scene is Paul from Paul Z Creative Services. This was a commission piece for a nice couple that wanted to have themselves drawn into a fantasy scene. I won't even attempt to give a cost for such sketches. It all depends on the artist and the demand for that artist. Sometimes you can get one on the cheap, other times you can pay through the nose. If you shop around the artists in Artist Alley that are doing sketches though, you'll always find someone in your price range. Paul here was sharing his workspace at the con with 7000 BC, an independent comic creator from New Mexico. There's one way that many artists try to cut costs in the Artist Alley. By partnering up with other artists, they split the table fees, cost of room in a hotel, or even travel expenses. Anything to save a buck so you can make a buck, that's for sure. I'm here with Kyle Richards from homelessrobot.net. And Kyle, can you tell me a little bit about what got you started doing the homeless robot?
Well, initially I had this character, this robot, and I wanted to do a cartoon. Well, that would take way too long to actually produce anything, So I was like, well, how can I do this? And my favorite artist, Steve Purcell, does Ziomek. He started doing this online comic where you put your mouse over the frame and the text box will pop up, or something else will happen. I was like, well, that's cool. I can probably use that as an idea to start from. Then I went from there, and with the cartoon, I want to do with voices because the characters, they're strongly dependent on how they interact and their voices. So I was like, all right, well, I can do it with Flash, with voices and music and all the sound and stuff like that. So I started doing it with Flash and animated it and stuff. The premise is he's homeless. No, he's a robot. The guy that runs the city he lives in, Dr. Wagner, he built the robot, and things transpired to where the robot's now a homeless alcoholic robot. And it gets explained about how and why he's homeless and how it affects him and his motivations and everything. That gets explained, but pretty much he's homeless alcoholic, and he's ashamed that he's drinking and homeless. It's a circle, vicious circle.
We'll come back to Kyle in issue 2 of the documentary to ask him about why he comes to the Artist Alley. Now I'll take you to an interview with Rich Maier of my own group, Chaos Field Studios, in a much different setting. And so, Rich, what do you do for Chaos Field Studios?
Originally a writer, and now an editor. And I thought I was going to be a director, but no movies were made, so can't be much of a director without movies being made.
So how long you think until you start making a profit?
I don't think that anyone should have the illusion that they're going to walk into artist alley and come out making any profit. You're there because you want to create the product, the comic book. Some people make movies, and I've seen them sell them there. You're not there to make the money. I mean, it would be great if you could, but I mean, if you're there for the money, you're not going to be there next year, because I've seen people. I've seen actually talented people. They're mostly untalented, but I mean, some talented people. I haven't seen them there again, and they had great books, but I mean, it's probably because they didn't make the money. But you're not necessarily going to make money right away, and if you do, it's going to take a long time to make it. So, like I said, you shouldn't have any illusions. You're there because you want to be doing that art. When I say art, I mean writing, editing, and actual art. You're there because you want to make the book, not because you want to make the money. And that's the way it goes. And there I hear Interpol, which means I have a phone call, and it is Steve. Yeah, what's happening? Yeah, we'll be there. We'll be down back at the bar, but I'm in the middle of an interview right now, and I'm being taped like at this very moment. So we will be back at the bar, but I'm hoping that we go back to the room, because there's hard liquor there, and I haven't done any shots yet, so that would be cool to do some shots. Yeah, I know. We'll be down there. But yeah, and we got to finish this interview, which is being taped right now. So, you know. So I'll see you in about a half hour, 20 minutes, something like that. Later.
So, yeah. If you tune back into issue 2 of this documentary, you may get to see a glimpse of the room Rich mentioned in his phone call. Parties during Comic-Con weekend can be a hoot. You never know what you might see. For example, you might see someone impersonating both Yoda and Gollum while reading from a comic that you really should never let your kids read. You might see that. What you're seeing but not hearing in this sequence is my walking interview with Steve Piccioni, my partner in crime and the founder of Chaos Field Studios. You get to see more of this interview with audio in issue 2 as well. Stay tuned.